Hi everyone, hope you're well. This is CoinsKid, just going on to Bitcoin. But the CoinsKid crew, so a little bit of good news is we saw a close above the ribbon. Now typically, and I've looked at historical data points, if we break down and we see that bearish signal for Bitcoin, if we maintain the resistance of the ribbon and then we drop again, obviously, then that's a very, very powerful statement and a very powerful indicator in the charts right now off the ribbon, okay? But what we've done yesterday, we've actually closed out above. So technically that is quite a bullish close for Bitcoin if we just respected the data point. So we look at the historical data points of this particular signal for Bitcoin. It could indicate that that was the bottom. You had an impulsive move, ABC2, and this is charging right now for Bitcoin. This is about to go vertical, okay, which would be absolutely amazing for Bitcoin. So if we move to the left, take a look at these previous signals. It's all about obviously support and resistance. So right now you got the close, okay, you came down, immediately you got your close back above the ribbon, and then boom, you bolted to the upside. So we negated that bearish signal, okay. If we go back to the previous time that we got that signal, you can clearly see just there we lost the ribbon, okay, printed the red sell dot, and we never closed back above the ribbon, okay. And just there we lost the ribbon, printed the red sell dot, and again we're losing the ribbon. It's become resistance. So right now the fact that we're breaking and closing above the ribbon, it could begin to negate this bearish signal that's been printed in the charts, okay. And then again we look at this period here, we broke down, lost the ribbon, red sell signal, look at that, and then boom, breaks to the upside, gets to close above, prints a green buy dot, and then off it goes to the upside. So this is personally what I would like to see, to be honest with you, but just because I'd like to see it doesn't mean it'll happen. But I'm just relaying it to you that, you know, historically losing the data, okay, losing the ribbon with a red sell dot and closing back above is actually quite a nice bullish statement if we're looking at historical data points where, you know, it does begin to negate that. So over the next couple of days, if we can turn this red sell dot into a buy dot, it may be an indication that Bitcoin's about to pump, okay, and we're about to go vertical in this market, which would be absolutely amazing. Now if Bitcoin does break out to the upside and we've completed the ABC zigzag correction here, and right now we're closing above, and this is a beautiful little signal, and we do something like this and take the range out, where's Bitcoin going to go to? So I'm looking above at this level of resistance just there, which is basically a 1.618 Fibonacci extension for Bitcoin, okay. So if we zoom out a little bit, you can clearly see that we keep running into these fibs as resistance, 1.272, 1414, and right now the next target is this level of resistance up here, around about the 1.618, around about 156k. So if we were to drop a horizontal line in as a, you know, a potential scenario, by Friday the 7th of October, we could be on that trend line, which would be absolutely amazing for Bitcoin in some kind of big vertical breakout, and that you would see that carried across the entire space right there. But if Bitcoin runs into that, okay, and takes all this resistance and takes out this previous local high and goes vertical at that point, you are running into a key Fibonacci right there. It could indicate that that's the top, okay. But we want to see, you know, what the data is at that particular period of time if it happens. But right now I just want to relay to you, if I'm just respecting the data that we've seen before, losing the ribbon, not so good, but closing back above after a red sell dot is actually quite a nice little statement there for Bitcoin. So let's zoom in on the lower time frames, the 4 hourly time frame, because there is technically, if you take a look, we've got a nice little buy signal on the 4 hour. We do have a nice little inverse head and shoulders pattern here, and the technical target for that particular pattern has not yet been met. So what we've got, and always try and get as many points of contact as you can. We've got a left shoulder just there. We've come up, made basically your head. You rally into the right shoulder. You're still holding the ribbon in a beautiful ascending triangle. You've coiled up, compressed out, and right now it looks as though if you can hold this support and not have a throwback back into this pattern, it looks as though Bitcoin's on its way to this range here. Okay, there is actually a technical target that we can basically target from the neckline all the way down to the body of the candle. It looks as though Bitcoin right now is breaking out of a beautiful inverse head and shoulders pattern, okay. There's your left shoulder, there's your head, there's your right shoulder, breaking out right now. So that should be the technical target, at least $118,973 right there for Bitcoin, okay. So that would be absolutely amazing. Now obviously at the moment, if we do start to have a throwback into the pattern, then it's basically a bull trap and a fake out. But at the minute, you know, respectfully, that is a technical target that we find ourselves in on the lower time frame, on the 4 hour inverse head and shoulders pattern, coiled up in ascending triangle, boom 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 boom, broke out a 3rd point resistance. So we could have a run and then an ABC back into this leg to confirm support before the continuation to the upside. But keep an eye on the daily. We have right now confirmed a break above and a close above the daily ribbon. We could begin to negate that bearish sell signal right there for Bitcoin, okay. So again, data not in motion. Hope you enjoyed that update. If you are looking for trades, long, short, whatever, head into the Discord, because we're absolutely smashing it on the futures blocks right there. I'll show you a quick trade on the futures blocks and how you can find them yourself, okay. So the futures block's really cool, really simple system to use. It's just a visual representation of the the micro fear and greed for a particular coin at any given time, and it's represented in the color blocks. So I know a lot of people are colorblind or have problems with colors, and this is why I've created this customized crypto blocks palette for you. You can go in, play with it, have a look, pick the colors that suit your, personality or whatever, it's personal preference. But this is a default. This is what I look at. So basically you've got fear, extreme fear, fearful, worry, neutral zone, optimism, greed, and extreme greed. And one thing I look for is if ever we see anything in extreme fear, I'm looking to long it, and if we ever see anything in extreme greed, I'm looking to short it. And this is really simple, and obviously in the greed zone as well, or in the fearful zone, I'm looking to long it there and I'm looking to short it there. So yesterday was a coin PRCL. For anyone paid attention to the XRP video, I'll show you quickly, PRCL, beautiful little opportunity right there. It was in the greed zone at this point yesterday, coiling up, and like I said to you, I think we'll see another high here into the 1.618 where we'll print this double bearish divergence, which we did, and then boom, it'll come down, and it's a beautiful little trade. And I would never have looked at this trade if it wasn't for the futures block. So it came up to the 1.618, nabbed it, and it's been coming down ever since, okay, into the sweet spots down there. So basically it's really, really simple. You just look for the trend, which is obviously up. You can see Bitcoin is coming up into optimism, and tether dominance is having a head stamped on it right now. So you've got Bitcoin pushing up. Now I'm not looking to short Bitcoin because it's in the optimism zone, and obviously we've got that technical target to the upside for Bitcoin. But what I'm looking to do is short anything that's greedy or extreme greed. So click on extreme greed. We've got no coins in extreme greed. So looking at the greed zone, really simple. Just pick a random coin, go along. We're looking for something that's got a green arrow under it, just exits on the up. In a minute, look at this, beautiful. So this is losing the ribbon at the moment. It's trying to come down, isn't it? So you've got some kind of big pullback at the moment we're going through. This bearish divergence is actually kicking in because you've got really overextended here on the MACD, and you printed this bearish divergence with basically a rising channel, some kind of bearish wedge basically. So this trade might already be playing out. Okay, so you've come up, you've got resistance there over the extended MACD, resistance there, resistance there, and right now you're getting the same resistance in lower highs on the MACD. So keep an eye on this because at the moment we're coming down, we're coiling up. If this thing does come back out, makes a lower high, you can entertain a short on this neckline of resistance with your pivot point as your stop loss, and this could come all the way back down into this range just here for this particular project. Okay, and this is what I'm looking at. So I'll just be patient for this. Wait for this, fall down at the moment to develop even more. If it starts to come up, makes a lower high, stop loss, trend line resistance would be your basically your entry point, and then boom, you'd be looking at shorting it all the way back down to this support. So this could be a nice little short. Keep an eye on this trade. This is the 15-minute time frame on Ronin. So you're looking for this breakdown, retracement into this neckline as support, resistance. Sorry, if it gets it, you've broken down of a broadening wedge. Turn this into resistance. Come back down the stairs. You've got a nice 10% short up. Okay, so keep an eye on this neckline on the 15-minute time frame. I would not necessarily jump into a short right now, just because you're rolling over, and this is just the minimal risk trade. So technically, really simply, what I'm looking at, I'm trying to simplify this for you. That would be the top of a 3-point resistance point. At that point, you're breaking down this trend line. Okay, you've lost this technical support of a broadening wedge, basically, which is a bearish reversal pattern. So you do something like this, come back up, turn this into resistance, stop loss pivot high around about 0.570, and then this continues to the downside to this technical target there, and potentially a flush into this range back there. And that's just basic trading using the futures blocks on Ronin. You can get involved in this. Just go to the CoinsKid Discord, follow links in the process. I try to post the trade setups every single day in the Discord for the CoinsKid crew in the futures block section. So keep an eye on this little trade. Might be a nice little trade today for Ronin, basically. Hope you enjoyed that update. Stay up for 6 months, stay tuned. Take care, everyone. Back to another update on Bitcoin. Bye bye.